Watch yourself.
Oh,
Watch
whoa!
yourself.
What's
yourself.
this?
You mean you don't know what this is?
No, what's this?
Oh, have a look. This.
Oh, wow. Mark, do you want to talk about this?
Oh, we'll get to this. We'll get to this. We'll get to this.
It looks very fancy, doesn't it, Mark?
This is the baby.
Who's part of our European men's
Our European
championship
men's team this year is myself. We have Pete Stevenson.
Nice. Pistol Pete,
Hadley Morgan, Gav Greaves, Stephen Kay, and Gaz Sykes round out the six. We'll all travel into Denmark on the 3rd of June to the 15th of June. So watch out for that. There will be streams, obviously, for each event, but that'll be 2 weeks of some high intense and high quality bowling. Hopefully we'll bring back some medals
from the others, not you, right?
Oh, I've got I'll just I'm there for the fun.
He's the mascot.
I'm there for the travellers.
Jazz hands, bowling.
Take a new country off the list.
Yeah, 100%. So, right now,
with a bit of a gap there.
There is a bit of a gap, and then we've got something big.
Something big.
Something big.
Oh, this bad boy. This
Bazinga.
goes back to the organisation of this. Goes back to October last year. I spoke with Lee, and Chatters has been running the English Open successfully for years. It's been part of the sport tour or as a bonus event for 4 or 5 years. Chatters has run it for a little bit longer, and it was part of the PTBC before that as well when Andy James ran it. And I said to Chatters this year, I said, look, I want to try and evolve the English Open, and I was looking at even maybe making it an EBT. I'd gone to Madrid and Munich last year with Ben Robinson. We were speaking in the lounges and on the plane saying, look, what can we do to try and bring something like that, like Madrid, like the Munich Ballmaster, like, any of those events in Europe to the UK. And this was just the obvious answer. It wasn't easy by any stretch, and it took a lot of work. But I spoke to Lee, and he said, well, actually, I was looking to step back anyway. So I said, right, fine, give it to me. And I've had a little bit of help from Ben with communicating with the Swedes and people he knows abroad. It's about who you know, not what you know.
It's
in the case
about
of
who you know,
getting the entries in. But so this will be the English Open 2025. It's a brand new format to the UK. It's going to be the biggest tournament we've had in over a decade in the UK, certainly in England. And I want to get it back to the level where we had the British Open, we had the London International, we even had the English Open when it was back in Nuneaton. But this will be the 10th or 11th English Open that Stroud have held, and I want to make it the biggest ever. And certainly in Stroud, it will be the biggest one we have ever had. You can see the guaranteed first prize is £3,500, which is just unheard of. It's almost double what it was last year. And there are many, many ways into the final. These all are different ways to get into the final. There will be 40 players making finals day, and the guaranteed prize for the top 40 is £250. So your entry fees range anywhere from £70 to £120. That depends on which one of the 19 squads you enter. We will go into that in more detail nearer the time, or you can just go onto any of our social media pages. Mine, Shay's, Stroud Bowl has it all plastered, all on there. But this is the main way to get into the final. On the first weekend, as you can see, the event runs from the 26th of September to the 5th of October, which, as you can tell, is 10 days. So on the Friday, the 26th of September, the Friday and Saturday are early bird squad A. Now, if you bowl in those early bird squads and you don't make the top 28, you have a chance of making the top 40 anyway. So the top 2 scores from the early bird who don't make the final will go into the final 40. Exactly the same for early bird B, which is on the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. They have another chance. If you bowl really well and you're in the top 28, brilliant. But if you bowl that a little bit less than the main cut, you've got another 2 chances to make the top 40 final. Then at the end of the tournament, as with every European event and some events in the UK, there is a Desperado squad.
Desperado.
That is a one-game shootout. It's, I think, £50 for that one game. It's your last chance to make the final. If you haven't made any of the early birds or any of the other gateways, you have one-game shootout on one lane, and that's your last chance to get in. And 2 of those bowlers will make the final 40. And with a guaranteed prize money of £250, and then it's just increment steps, 300, 350, I think 375, 450, and then we're talking upwards. I think the top 5 all have a payout of greater than £1,000. And then there are 3 more gateways. So the top 40 will consist of the top 28, 2 from Early Bird A, 2 from Early Bird B, 2 from the Desperado, but also it will consist of 2 ladies. Any 2 ladies from outside the top 28, the top 2 will qualify. The top 2 seniors from outside the top 28, so if you are 50 or over, you are classified as a senior. Any 2 from outside the top 28 will qualify. Beg your pardon, the top 2. And then lastly, 2 youths from outside the top 28 will qualify as well. They are under 21s in this category, so any youth under 21 who is not in the top 28 will qualify for this top 40 here. And again, those top 40 bowlers are all guaranteed £250 cash, going all the way up to the huge £3,500 prize fund. Now, we have our sanctioning. BTBA have been fantastic in helping me get this off the ground.
Well, shout out to the bosses, Kim and Diane.
Absolutely, they help us with what we need. They allow us to do these kind of things, and the doors are still open because of them.
Well, they trust us to do our jobs. We do our jobs pretty well, I think.
Yeah,
most of the time, and we're providing as many people.
And it allows us to do these kind of things.
Like realistically, I am good enough to get in the final. I'm going to win it this year, right? That's the mentality you've got to have. However, this gives over 40 people that I know a platform to bowl against the best. And sometimes it's not always about, putting your ring in to win, but it's about making sure you're playing against the best to get better.
Absolutely. And I've had people say, oh, well, I'm not the top 40, I'm not in the top 40 best people in the country or the world or the Europe.
Doesn't matter.
But you don't have to be.
No.
There's the top 28 best bowlers on that day will make the final. The rest of them come from anywhere else. You can have one good game and win a Desperado squad. That's been shown. Craig Parker in the Welsh Open, perfect example, Desperado. He qualified and finished 4th. Perfect example. Do not ever sleep on the Desperado squad. But then you've got these.
Your
all
Milos.
of these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 other spots, plus your Desperado.
12.
Exactly. There are 10 other spots that you don't have to be the best. You just have to be the best in those 4 or 5 squads. Because if you're the best in Early Bird A, you don't need to be. You could be 120 pins off this top 28. But if you're the best in Early Bird A, you're in. And you've won yourself 250 quid minimum. But it's not just about the 250 quid minimum. It's about you are part of a finals day in the English Open.
It's about
the biggest English Open for a decade.
I want to play the Blue Destroyer.
It doesn't matter who you're. It doesn't matter who you are or how good you think you are. No. If you're bowling against those 39 other best people in the country or in Europe at that time or in the world.
In the world.
You've made it. And year on year, there will not be those same 40 people in that final.
No.
You might have the same 10. But there will not be the same 40 people in those finals year on year. I guarantee it.
And that's what we're trying to say. We're saying that we've gone above and beyond to try and make sure that Stroud Bowl, a great tournament centre, is being able to provide the UK and European and world bowlers a chance and a platform to perform.
And to come to England.
Yeah.
We're never on the European map. We're never on the European tour. It's never, the Welsh Open doesn't drag anybody over. The English Open until last year, but again, contact who you know. Chatters did really well to speak to some of the Swedes and get them over here last year, which was fantastic, I've retained them this year. But it's all about spreading the word. You need help. I don't know everybody, but then, I know people who have really, really good relationships with Dutch bowlers, with Danish bowlers, with the Swedes, and it's all about people speaking to them saying, oh my God, this is happening this year. Let's get over, let's give it a try. And the plan is, this year won't be the biggest one.
No.
Because it's the first one.
Yep.
It will not be the biggest one. There will be people that come over and maybe they didn't quite like it. But there will be people that come over and they go back home and they shout about it. And I can guarantee that. And I can, if a European bowler wins, they will go home and say, my God,
that was awesome.
Brilliant. But the thing with this is, if this grows, this next year is higher.
Yeah.
This will always be the same because that's the format I like and I love. But this will be higher. And that 250 for 40th, that will be higher. And everywhere in between. And until it hits its ceiling.
What we're saying is there's a lot coming. Stay tuned because the English Open is just a drop in the water for the next 5 years of what we're going to offer.
It is. We are 4 months away.